All right, welcome to The Explainer. We've taken a massive 4-hour deep dive, and we're boiling it down for you. The topic today? It's a wild one. We're talking about a theory that connects a U.S. Special Forces firefight in Afghanistan with a giant, with forbidden ancient scriptures, and with modern UFO sightings. It sounds crazy, I know, but the idea is that they're all pieces of the same huge conspiracy. So let's get into it and see if we can connect some of these dots. Okay, so let's start with the big one, the event that really kicks this whole thing off. According to the source material, U.S. Special Forces in Kandahar weren't just clearing a cave. No, they stumbled upon something else entirely, a 12-foot-tall, red-headed giant. The story goes that this thing actually killed one of the soldiers before they were able to take it down. And then, poof, a C-130 transport plane comes in, flies the body out, and it's never, ever seen again. This single, highly classified incident, that's our rabbit hole. So you have to ask, right? Is this just some wild battlefield story? You know, the kind of thing soldiers tell each other? Well, according to the theory we're breaking down, this encounter is anything but an isolated event. The argument is that this is the modern reappearance of something incredibly old. We're not just looking at a weird incident. We're looking at the very tip of a giant mythological iceberg that goes back thousands and thousands of years. Okay, first step. Let's really dig into the details of what they say happened during this encounter. Because understanding what supposedly went down in that cave, that's the key to unlocking the whole rest of this thing. So here's the play-by-play. According to the reports, it all starts in a remote cave out in Kandahar province, right after a special forces team goes missing. So they send in a second team to investigate, and that's when they find it. This entity, 12 feet tall, with fiery red hair. The story goes it killed a soldier before the team managed to bring it down. But the aftermath? That's where it gets even stranger. A huge C-130 transport plane is called in, just to airlift this one body out. And then, complete silence. The whole thing gets buried under layers of secrecy. That's our modern mystery. Now, here's where things get really interesting, because the theory takes a sharp turn. If you want to explain this giant, the argument isn't to look in classified military files. Nope. The argument is that you have to go way back, thousands of years back, to a book that was, for very specific reasons, left out of most versions of the Bible. All right, now we're going to dive into the ancient foundation for this whole theory. We're talking about the controversial, mysterious Book of Enoch. So what exactly is this book? Well, the Book of Enoch is this ancient Hebrew text, and it's said to have been written by Enoch, who was actually Noah's great-grandfather. Now, it's important to note that most mainstream religions today, they don't consider it part of the official scripture. But for this theory, it is absolutely crucial, because it tells a very, very specific story about a group of fallen angels they called the Watchers. And this story is the absolute core of it all. So you have this group of 200 angelic beings, the Watchers, and they come down to Earth. And right away, they start corrupting humanity. They teach people forbidden knowledge, things like how to make weapons, and then they start interbreeding with human women. And their kids? They weren't human. They were a race of giants called the Nephilim. And the theory we're exploring posits that the creature killed in that Kandahar cave was a direct descendant of these beings. Okay, and this is where the theory takes a massive leap, right from the ancient past smack into the middle of our modern world. The argument is that these beings, the Watchers, and all their influence, they never really left. They just went underground, changing how they look, changing their methods, and that's what leads us directly into some of the biggest unexplained mysteries of today. So, this brings us to the next big piece of the puzzle, connecting these ancient myths to the modern UFO phenomenon. The argument here is that we're looking at the exact same thing, it's just wearing a new, high-tech mask for our times. Just take a look at this side-by-side comparison laid out in the source material. It's pretty compelling. On the left, you've got the story from the Book of Enoch. You have fallen angels, they bring forbidden, world-changing technology, and they travel in what people back then might have called chariots of the gods. Now look at the right, modern ufology. What do we have? Beings like gray aliens. They have incredibly advanced aerospace technology, and they travel in UFOs. The argument is simple. These aren't two different stories. They're just two different cultural descriptions of the very same non-human, interdimensional intelligence. And if you buy into that, it completely reframes the whole UFO narrative, doesn't it? UFO disclosure, in this light, isn't about finally meeting friendly visitors from another planet. No, it's about reintroducing these ancient Watchers under a new, scientific-sounding disguise. The whole alien abduction phenomenon, That's seen as a continuation of their genetic experiments. And those familiar beings like the Greys or insectoids, they're just the new forms these ancient, interdimensional beings have decided to wear.
So that naturally brings us to the biggest question of them all. I mean, if this theory is right, if ancient giants, fallen angels, and modern aliens are all connected, then what's the point? What's the end game here? What is this centuries-long program actually trying to accomplish?
Okay, let's unpack the final part of this whole theory, what they call a prophetic timeline, which claims to tie everything we've just talked about into a single, frankly, chilling endgame. So the source material lays out this 5-step plan. It's pretty wild. Step 1, that was the original corruption of humanity way back when. Step 2, their secret influence continues throughout all of human history. Now, step 3 is what the theory says is happening right now, this big disclosure event that paints them as benevolent aliens or space brothers. And that's all designed to lead to step 4, a brand new global religion all based on contact with these beings. And the final step, the ultimate goal, a massive physical war between humanity and these returning gods. And this quote really just nails the core idea. The argument is that the UFO phenomenon isn't just about lights in the sky or a scientific mystery. It's presented as a spiritual and psychological operation. It's the vanguard of a movement designed to completely upend human belief as we know it and usher in a new world order. So at the end of the day, we're left with this really provocative question. We've gone from a strange encounter in a cave in Afghanistan all the way back to forbidden ancient texts, and then right into the heart of the modern UFO phenomenon. The theory that the source material lays out really asks us to wonder, is everything we're seeing in our skies and hearing in the news, is it something brand new? Or is it the return of something very, very old, just wearing a very clever modern disguise? And that's the question this explainer leaves you with.